Guys, what's up? Chris Zoupa here. We're going to be looking at the very challenging and redonk solo from Through the Fire and Flames by Dragonforce. Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I'm going to start off with a little legato lick by playing 8, 7, 5, 7, 5 on the third string. So I'm doing 2 pull-offs, and then hammering back into 7 and then pulling off to the 5. Okay, after that I want to jump to 6 of the 4th string. I'm going to play 6, 5, 6 as a pull-off into a hammer. So all together, at the end of that, I'm going to hammer forward through the notes we had before, which was 5, 7, 8 on the third. Hopefully that's making sense. Okay, at the end of that, I want to jump to the second string. I'm now going to play 8, 9 as a hammer on, and then play 8 of the first string. I'm going to do that whole idea twice. If you want to, you can just keep your pointer flat and then roll between the first and the second string, or you can drop it down. It's up to you. Okay, so this is what we should have thus far. At the end of that, I want to play 9 of the second string again. And then from there, I'm going to work up a little bit of shredding. So I'm going to play 8, 10, 11 on the first string. And then I'm going to do a full position shift, and I'm going to play 10, 11, 13. And then I'm going to play 11 and then 13 as a bend. And that's a full tone bend. So let's try the whole thing thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. Let's have a look at the second half of this section now. I want to start off on 13 of the first string, and I'm going to pull off 11 to 8. Okay, after that I jump to 9 of the second string again. And then I'm going to shred in little groups of 4. So the first group of 4 is going to go 8, 10, 11, 13. And the next group of 4 is going to go 10, 11, 13, 15. Let's go from that pull-off lick and then those 2 groups of 4. Okay, after that I want to work into this phrase. Alright, so let's have a look at that. So we had, at the end of that, I want to play 13, 15, 13 on the first string, so that's only 3 notes. And then I do a position shift, so now I'm over here. What I want to do is play 16, 15 on the first, and then 18, 15 on the first. At the end of that, I'm going to play 18, 16, 15 on the second string. So we're going to go. At the end of that, I'm going to play 16, 18 on the first string and do a bend on the 18. So we're going to go. Then to finish off that bar, to lead into the second section, I'm going to do a cheeky 18, 20, and that will roll into the second section. Alright, so that's the whole of the first section. I'll play it slowly from the start, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the second section. Keep in mind that we've just come from at the end of the first groove. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to play 18, 20, and then do a couple of other notes. And I'm going to make 20 my pedal notes. So I'm going to keep returning to it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to play 18, 20, 16, 20, 15, 20. Okay, and then I want to jump to 18 of the second string. And at the end of that, I'm just going to do a little ascend. I'm going to play 15, 16, 18 on the second and the first string. So we're going to go. Okay, as soon as I get to that 18 on the first string, I'm going to hit it 2 more times and then do a similar lick. So let's try doing the whole thing thus far. Then the extra 2 hits. What I'm going to do now is play 16, 18, 15, 18, and then 13 on the first string. So 18 is sort of our new pedal note. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I work into this phrase. So it's nearly the same as what we had before with just an ascend, but this one goes a quick descend and then an ascend as well. So I'm going to play 16, 15, 13, 15, 16. That was on the second string, and then I drop down to the first and then just do a straight ascend, 13, 15, 16. This is what we should have from the start. Hopefully that's all making sense. We will do it again slower towards the end. Let's get the next chunk happening. I want to start with a quick rolling hammer-on idea. I'm going to play 13, 15, 16 on the second string. And then I want to play 13 of the first string, then back up to 16 of the second. After that, I work into this phrase. So we've got, after that, I'm going to play 13, 15, 13 on the first string, then jump to 16 of the second. After that 16 of the second, I want to jump back down to the first string. And then after that, I play 16, 15, 13, 15, 13. So together slowly. At the end of that, I'm going to add in a 15, 13 on the third as well. So it'll go. Let's go from the legato part at the start of this little chunk. We'll finish it off and put the whole thing together. Hopefully that's all making sense. And the last part is just sort of a quick descend and quick ascend and descend, and then a bit more ascendy action. Basically a very diatonically scaly run. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play 12, 13, 15, 13, 12 on the third string, and then 15, 13, 15 on the fourth. At the end of that, I'm going to ascend up now. I'm going to play 12, 13, 15 on the third string, and 13, 15, 16 on the second. At the end of that, I play 15 of the first string and give that some gentlemanly vibrato. And that'll lead us into the third section. So let's try and do the whole section from the start, nice and slowly, from the 18-20 at the beginning. One more time with some tabs. Okay, quick disclaimer before we enter this section. I just want to point out that there's a lot of pitch shift action on this. So we're just going to learn it as is. If you get your hands on a whammy pedal, or foot rather, you can involve that, but we're just going to learn it today with just a basic, not too overdriven sound and work through it that way, and you can add the effect later if you wish. I want to start from 13 of the second string, and then I'm going to play 10, 11, 10 on the first string. Okay, at the end of that, I want to go. Let's slow that down. I'm going to play 13 to 11 twice on the second string, and then 12, 10 on the third. At the end of that, I'm going to do a hammer on from 8 to 10 and then slide to 12. It's going to get that sort of smooth, slurry legato sound. So from the start, hopefully that's making sense, and then I go into this phrase. these basically have the same rhythm. So let's go through it slowly. I'm going to do 3 10s on the first string, and then play 11 10, and then I'm going to play 13 11 on the second string. And then using pretty much the same rhythm, I'm going to shuffle that over to this point here. So I'm going to play 13 of the first string, I'm going to do 3 of that, then 15 13, and then 16 13 to finish. So we've got, let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start. Hopefully that's all making sense. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit silly and we start getting swept taps involved. Once again, the pitch shift is an octave above what we will be playing today, but the fretting would be the same. So we'll just learn it this way, as I said before. I'm going to do a C minor arpeggio. So what I'm doing there, sweeping through obviously, and then we'll add the cheeky taps as well. I want to play from the 5th string, 15, 13 on the 4th, on the 3rd string I'm playing 12, on the 2nd I'm playing 13, and then I'm hammering 11 to 15 on the 1st. Okay, and then at the end of that, I'm going to tap 16 on the 1st string, and then as I descend down the arpeggio, I'm going to do some hammer-ons out of nowhere, as they say, with my fretting hand. So I'm going to go, my fretting hand's going to beat my tap there. I'm going to play 13 on the 2nd string, and then tap 16 of the 2nd string. Then I'm going to do the same idea, but womp down 12 of the 3rd, and then I do a tap on 17 of that string. Obviously, as I lift the tap, it's going to make a pull-off sound. Then I jump to the 4th string, hammer on from nowhere to 13th fret, and then I'm going to do 2 taps from 17. So let's have a look at this really slowly. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I'm just going to ascend up that arpeggio from the root note up to the highest note, and then I'll reverse back to the 3rd string. That's going to sound like this. Okay, then I'm going to ascend back up again. I want to end on 15 of the 1st string. At the end of that, I'm going to tap 20th fret. So we're going to go. Hopefully that's making sense. Let's go from the initial sweep with those taps, and then we'll add the final run and put the whole thing together. Hopefully that's making sense. Okay, so the next bit, we're going to do quick groups of 8. I want to play 15, 11 on the 1st string, and then I'll play 13, 15, 13, 11, and then I'll do the 15, 11 again. And that pattern, it's very Malmsteen-y really. I don't know why it reminds me of him. We want to do that kind of rhythm in a couple of other places. Let's do a very similar rhythm, but with a slightly different shape to keep in the scale. I'm going to play 16, 13 on the 1st string, then 15, 16, 15, 13, and then another 16, 13. And then the next shape I do, I'm going to play 18, 15, and then it'll go 16, 18, 16, 15, and then another 18, 15 on that. And then to finish, a delicious bend from 18. So back to back. And this bit will obviously still be pitch shift from the sweep tabs. So let's take it from the start of this section, and we'll do it again after that slowly with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright, let's take a look at the 4th section. This is going to start off with a delicious ascending run into some tappy goodness. I want to start off from 11 of the 5th string. I'm going to play 11, 13, 15. Just work diatonically up this scale. I'm going to play 12, 13, 15 on the 4th. And then I'm going to play 12, 13, 15, and then a cheeky 13, 15 on the 3rd string. So there's actually going to be 5 notes there instead of 3. Okay, Okay, at the end of that, I'm going to play 13, 15, 16 on the second string, and then 13, 15 on the first. All together. Hopefully that's making sense. I want to jump over to 18th fret. So what I'm doing here, I call this the gallop or the apple pie rhythm. I've got a single note on 18. I've got that Iron Maiden little gallop just briefly. I'm going to play 1, 18, 1, and then another quick group of 3, apple pie, and then I want to go at the end of that, after my little gallop rhythm, I'm going to play 20, 18, 15 of that string, and then jump to 16 of the second. Let's try from the run at the start in that little chunk, and then we'll work through the tap run that follows that. Hopefully that's making sense. Now what I'm doing here is working through a very simple arpeggio with some cheeky double taps. I use my fingers, or you can use, if you're like me and you're a weirdo, you can use the side of your nail, or you can use a ring, or if you're a normal person, you can use the side of your pick to tap, but it's not so ridiculous that you can't do it with your finger tip. That's the word I'm looking for. Just the tip. Anyway, here's what I want to do. I want to play the arpeggio, playing 15 of the first, 16 of the second, and 17 of the third. And I'm going to do taps across 20 on all of those strings. So I'm going to start off with a tap on 20 and my left hand playing 15. I'm going to do that twice. Jump to the second string for 16, 2 taps from 20. Third string from 17 and 2 taps on 20. Then back to the second string. Sort of go. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I do there, 3 picks on 20 of the first string, and then I work into this. So what I've got here is I'm playing 18 to 15 as a slide back and forward with 1 pick. At the end of that, I want to do a slide from 13 to 15 as well. If you want to add another pick in there, you can. If you want to do it all in one go and you have enough drive, that will also work as well. So that's basically the whole section. Let's take it from the start and then try it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Right guys, let's have a look at the 5th section. I'm going to start off with this 4-note arpeggio. It's only across 2 strings. I want to start off with a pull off from 20 to 16. And then I've just got a flat pointer here. And then I'm rolling from 16 of the second to 16 of the first. I want to do that idea 4 times. Hopefully that's making sense. I've just got a pull off and then a mini sweep or economy pick. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, I work into a major arpeggio. This starts way up high on 23. I'm going to do a pull off from 23 to 20. And then work up the major arpeggio. So it'll play 21 of the second, 20 of the third, and 22 of the fourth. Okay, then I want to work my way back up. I want to work my way back up to 20 of the first string. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to do 2 pull-offs from 21 to 20. At the end of that, I do a pull-off from 23 to 20. And then I want to resolve that to 21 of the second string. So let's try that whole arpeggio. All right, let's try it from the 4 little arpeggios at the start and then lead it into that. Hopefully that's making sense. Now the next bit's quite legato-y. I want to do a hammer on from 18 to 23. I know it's a dumb stretch, I apologize. I want to play 18, 23, a pull off to 18, and then 23 again. So we want to get 4 notes, all out of that 1 pick. I'm going to do very similar idea on the first string, but I'm going to hammer 18 to 22. Now because Dragonforce are weird sorcerers, they do this weird whammy drive thing. At full speed, it is hard to get. I think it's a bend with a whammy drive, but I prefer to just get at full speed. It's nearly impossible. So I just do a semitone bend from 24 if you have a 24 fret guitar. So I'll show you how that sounds with the other two bits before it. After that, we work into a full tone run. This is a very, very weird scale. I barely heard this and I listened to it about 15 times. I was like, yes, it is the weird full tone scale. We want to be playing 15, 17, 19 on the 5th. Then weird and gross, we're going to play 16, 18, 20 on the 4th. Then to keep it going, I want to play 17, 19 on the 3rd. And then I play 18 of the 1st. And then give it some angry, crazy whammy action from there. Sounds like something weird is about to happen. It's a very spooky scale. Anyway, let's take it from the 4 arpeggios at the start, that big little thing there, and then we had the full tone run. Let's just put it all together and then try it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, section 6. This is one of my favorite sections of the song. I do believe there's a little bit of wah on there as well if you want to get that involved, but it doesn't make too much difference in the learning stages. I want to start with a bend on 18 of the 2nd string. I do 2 of those. I want to bring it down and then pull off to 16 of that string. Okay, at the end of that, what I've got here is I'm just working sort of down a pentatonic in C. I'm playing 18, 16 on the 2nd, and then 17, 15 on the 3rd. Hopefully that's all making sense, nice and groovy. And then I've got a rolling sort of legato thing, keeping it nice and pentatonic-y and bluesy. I'm playing 15, 16, 17, all in one pick on the 4th string. Then I want to play 15 of the 3rd. At the end of that, I'm going to play 17, 16, 15 on the 4th, but this time I'm going to pick it all. Okay, so from the start. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. I want to jump to 18 of the 5th. And then I want to play 15, 17 on the 4th. So we're leaving out that weird accidentally note now. But this time we add it back on the 3rd string. So now we're going to have an extra note here. I'm going to play 15, 16, 17 on the 3rd. So let's try from the start up to that point. Hopefully that's making sense. I want to play 16 of the 2nd string, 15 of the 3rd, and then when I get back to 16 of the 2nd, I'm going to give that a little pinch harmonic. If you have a 24 fret guitar, the quickest way to find that for me was in the middle of these 2 pickups here. So I can get it nearly every time if I'm looking at my right hand when that happens. Let's try the whole thing thus far and then we'll get the second half of this. Okay, then we're working to this phrase. Alright, let's slow that down. I'm going 15, 16 on the 1st string, and then a pull off from 18 to 16. Then I've got a bend. So I bend 18 up and then just play it as a regular note. And then I work into this. So I've got a pull off from 16 to 15, and then I'm going to pluck 16 to 15. After that, I'm working out basically the same shape we had in the last section, that major arpeggio ending on the 3rd instead of the root note. So I'm going, after that I was playing 16 of the 2nd string, 15 of the 3rd, and 17 of the 4th. I want to go back down to 15 of the 3rd. It changes a little bit here though. I'm going to play 18, 16 on the 2nd string. So it'll go. Okay, at the end of that I go. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing 16, 18 on the 2nd string, back to the 16, and then I've got a bend on 18. So we're going to go 16, 18, 16, 18 with the bend, and then resolve that to 15 of the 3rd. So we've got And obviously there's a bit in the middle where we do have 2 16s in a row. Let's try and put the whole section together relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the next section. I'm going to start from 16 of the second string and play 18 of the first. There's a little bow chord shape, and then I slide from 16 to 13 on the second. At the end of that, now this is a bit strange, I want to roll up to 13 of the third string and then play 15 of the first, and we're going to get kind of a major 7 interval there. At the end of that, I want to slide from 13 to 11 on the second string, and then I work into a bit of a sus arpeggio. So I'm playing 13 of the third string, and then a flat pointers covering 11 of the second and the first. At the end of that, I want to play 13 of the first string, then I'm going to pluck 15 and pull off 13, 11. Let's try that arpeggio with the pull off at the end now. At the end of that, I'm going to add a cheeky 18 tap there. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's try and do it from the start, from those little power chord ideas. Okay, at the end of that, I work into this. What I essentially have is a C minor 7 arpeggio, but I'm just doing pinch harmonics on every single note. It's a bit strange. Let's do it as a normal arpeggio and then just add the harmonics later. So I want to play 18, 15 on the first, and then 16 of the second, and then 17 of the third. And with the squeals, it's pretty fun. After that, I'm going to play 15 of the first string and do 3 sort of whammy divey things. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to have it 18, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 18. And then I work into a little tap lick after that. So let's have a look at what we've got from the start. Okay, then we work into this weird tap lick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off, I'm going to tap 20 of the first string, and then pull off 16, 15. Now if you want, you can add your left hand first. At full speed it doesn't really matter. But I do sort of a hammer on out of nowhere to 16 of the second string. And then after that everything's pretty straight. I want to tap 20 of the second and pull off 16, 15 again. So we got, after that it's basically straight triplets. I want to do the first string now 3 times, and then the second string once. Just working with a straight descent with the triplets. So we got, after that I want to do 2 more of the first string. So we've got, hopefully that's making sense. Now it gets a little bit complicated before we finish this off. We will put it together slow with tabs later, I promise. What I want to try now is I want to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tap on 20 and pull off 16, 15, hammer back to 16, pull off to 15. Okay, then after that, I jump to the second string and do a hammer on to 16 out of nowhere. Obviously, I'm not picking it because I'm still got my tap hand over here. I'm pulling off from 16 to 15, and then I want to do 2 taps from 20 to 15. So we'll go. At the end of that, I'm going to tap 17 of the third and then pull off 15, 13. Sort of go. Hopefully that all makes sense. So let's go from the start of the tap run, and then we'll put the arpeggio at the end of it and tie it all together. So here we go. Hopefully that's making sense. The next bit is just an arpeggio into some diatonic stuff. So think of this as an E flat major arpeggio. From the 5th string, I'm playing 18, 17 of the 4th, 15 of the 3rd, 16 of the 2nd, and then 15 of the 1st. Okay, and then I play 18, 16, 15 on the 1st and 2nd string, and then I'm going to play 17, 15, 13, 12 on the 3rd. Hopefully that's making sense. And then we've got just a bit of a ascend up this run. There's a little chromatic in there. It was a bit cheeky. I barely heard it. But when transcribing it, I was drinking a lot of coffee and I could hear a few more notes per second than usual. So I want to play 12, 13, 15 on the 4th, same on the 3rd, and then I'm going to play 13, 15 on the 2nd. And then I've got my cheeky chromatic going 16, 15, 13, 12, sorry, 16, 15, 14, 13 on the 2nd string. At the end of that, I want to play 15, 13, 12 on the 3rd string. And then after that, I'm going to play 15 of the 3rd string and then 13, 15 on the 2nd. So it'll go. That's basically that section. It is a mammoth. Let's do it slowly from the start. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the 8th section. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I want to start with the slide from 13 to 16 on the 2nd string. I'm going to return to the 13 and pluck it twice. And then do a slide from 16 to 18 and then 18 to 20. All together. At the end of that, I'm going to end that little chunk with a slide from 15 to 13. Then I work into this phrase. So what I've got here is a pull off from 15 to 11 on the 2nd. And then I'm going to play 13 of the 3rd string and then hammer 15, pull off 13 and then to 12. So it'll go. After I've played that 12, I want to hit 15. And then after I've got a good note out of that, I'm going to do 3 quick flutters. 1, 2, 3. And at the end of that, what I'm doing there is I'm playing 13, 12, 15, 12 on the 3rd, but I want to just do a quick harmonic, pinch harmonic on the 12, on the last bit of that. So let's try the whole thing thus far. Okay, let's have a look at the next chunk now. So it's going to go to this. So let's start from 15 of the 1st string. I'm going to hit that twice. And then play 16 of the 2nd string. And then back to 15 again. And then 16 of the 2nd string. So we're doing 2 of the 1st, 1 of the 2nd, 1 of the 1st, 1 of the 2nd. And then I do 1 more of 1 of each. So it's actually quite a lot of those 2 notes. At the end of that, I want to do a hammer on from 15 to 16 on the 1st string. Then back to 15. And then at the end of that, I'm going to play 16, 15 on the 2nd string and pick both notes. So all together. Okay, after that, we've just got a really big, delicious run that'll work into section 9. So let's work through this slowly. I want to start from the 13th fret of the 4th string. I'm going to play 13, 15. Then I'm going to play 12, 13, 15 twice on the 3rd string. Okay, then after that I want to jump to 17 and then play 13, 15, 17. So it'll go. Let's join them together. Okay, and then I want to do this. So I'm going to play 15 at the 2nd string, 17, 15 on the 3rd, and then back to 15 of the 2nd string. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I work into this phrase. So it's a bit of sort of fast, almost like Kirk Hammett-y, Dave Mustaine-y, pentatonic-y stuff, and then some arpeggios. So what I'm going to do here going to play 2 13s on the second string, and then play 16, and then go back to 13. And then I play 18 to 13, and then back to 16, 13. Okay, after that I work into a couple of little arpeggios. I sweep the first one, I'm going to play 15 of the third and the second string, then 13 of the first, and then I play 16 of the second. To finish that off, I'm playing 15 of the second string, and then playing 13, 16, 13 as a hammer-on into a pull-off on the first string. So it'll go. So we'll join that from the little Mustaney lick. Let's try and do the whole section from the start, from the slides, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. All the time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's take a look at the ninth section. I want to start from 16 of the second string, then I'm going to hit 13 3 times, and I'm going to do the same idea but from 18 to 13 with 3 13s. I then jump to 15 of the first string and return to 13 of the second string. I'm going to do that another 3 times. At the end of that, I want to play 18 to 13. There's only going to be 1 13 at the end of that. At the end of that now, I want to work into this tapping phrase. So I'm going to tap 20 of the first string, pull off to my left hand, which is on 11, and then I'm going to hammer to 16. So I'll go 1, and I want to do 8 of those taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try the whole thing thus far. Okay, then we're working to a pretty cool shred lick. I want to play 15, 16, 18 on the second. Then I want to play 15 of the first. And instead of just shredding all of this, I pluck 16 of the first string and I'm going to slide 16, 18 back to 16. It's just a cool way to mix it up instead of keeping it a straight shred. And then I want to play 15 of the first and then 18, 16, 15 on the second string. Altogether that's going to sound like this. Okay, then I jump to the third string and I'm going to play 17, 15, 13 and then roll it forward 15 to 17 again, so it'll go. Okay, now the next chunk has a bit of a Lydian vibe to it and it's kind of triplety as well. When it's really fast you can't really tell, but I think when you're playing it slowly to get the bounce and the groove a little bit, try to think of it as a bit of a triplet vibe. I want to play 16, 15, 11 and then 15, 11 on the second string. 16, 15, 11, 15, 11. And then I'm going to play 13, 12, 13, 15 on the third string. And then I just resolve that back to the 13. And that's the whole section. So let's take it from the 16 at the start. One more time with some tabs. Okay, last section. Let's start from 11th fret of the first string. I'm going to play 11, 10 twice. But the second time I hit 10, I'm going to give that a light squeal. Okay, after that I work up a minor arpeggio, which is going to play 11 of the second string and 12 of the third. At the end of that, I jump to 9 of the second string. And then after that, I work into this little descending lick. So I'm going to play 11, 9 on the second, and then 12, 8 on the third. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. After that, I work into this little diatonic run and then there's some legato. the start of that's going 13, 15, 17 on the 4th and the 3rd string. 13, 15, 17, 13, 15, 17, and then I jump to 15 at the 2nd string. Then what I've got here, I'm doing one pick and I'm doing a couple of pull-offs. So I'm playing 13, 11, hammering back to 13 and then 11 again. I'm doing 4 notes in one pick. Then I jump over to 16 of the same string on the 2nd and I'm pulling off to 13 and I want to do that twice as well. Now at full speed you could potentially leave out that 2nd pick. Or you can pick it again, it's kind of up to you. Let's try and take it from the start and then we'll add a little tapping lick at the end of the song. Okay, the last bit I've got, I'm doing a weird kind of tap descend chromatic here. So let's just concentrate on what the right hand's doing. I'm going to tap 23 once, 22 twice, 21 twice, 20 twice, and then 19 once. So I'm going to go. Now if I add the left hand or the fretting hand in there, I want to be pulling off from 15 to 11. So let's do that. 123, 2 22s, 2 21s, 2 20s, then 119. All right, that's the whole thing. Let's take it from the start. One more time with some taps. And that was the solo to Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragonforce. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all very soon.